All right. So we just looked at question number 3. Everybody should have that one down. Let's drop down and take a look at question number 4. Now, surprisingly, this seems like one that should be an easy one, but on your quizzes, we made a lot of mistakes with this. But the mistakes are easily fixable. If it's asking for the least common multiple of 3 different terms, a 6x y to the third z, an 18x squared y, and a 24yz. When you have 3 terms, you have to look for the LCM 2 at a time. And I'm going to write that in red, and I'm going to write it directly next to it. When you have 3 terms, you must use them 2 at a time. And that's important. If you use all 3 with our little upside down division bar, the L, it's going to give you a common multiple, but it's not always going to give you the least common multiple. If you do it 2 at a time, I guarantee you will get the least common multiple every single time. So when we do this, we're going to start with just the first 2 values. And I'm going to rewrite those over. And what I'm looking for are numbers that are going to divide evenly into both of them. I'll start with the 6 and the 18. 6 goes into both of those, leaving me with an xy to the third, z, and then a 3x squared y. I continue to look for common factors. I can take out an x, which leaves me with y to the third z and a 3xy. And then I can also take out a y here. Y squared z and then a 3x. Now I can use my L is for LCM. I'm taking all the values in that L and multiplying them together. Well, the 6 times 3 is 18. X times x is x squared. Y times y squared is y to the third. And then I have that z left over. Now what I just found there was the least common multiple between the first 2 terms. I still have a 3rd term here that I can't forget about. Once I get this answer, I then need to do the same thing with that 24yz. And looking for things again that we can take out of both terms. The 18 and the 24, I can take out a 6. From the 24, I can also take out the 6, which gives me 4. I then can take out a y. And I can also take out a z. They have no more common factors here, so I can stop, and L is for LCM. I'm going to multiply all those values together. I'll take the 6 times the 3, which is 18, and then an 18 times the 4 is going to give me 72. Take the y times the y squared, which gives me y to the third. And the z has nothing to combine with it, so it's going to stay z. I have this x squared here, which also has nothing to combine with it. It'll stay x squared. Let's just make sure I have everything. The numbers are multiplied to give me the 72. The y's are taken care of. Z is taken care of. And then that x squared is taken care of. Perfect. I stop right there. That is the least common multiple of all three of those terms. Process is not difficult, but when you are given three terms, you have to remember to do them two at a time. If you don't, I'll say it again. You'll get a common multiple. It's not necessarily the least common multiple, and you're going to lose half credit on that question. And there were a handful of you that came up to me after I handed back those quizzes and asked, what did I do wrong here? Why is this incorrect? Well, you have to do them two at a time. And like I said, sometimes you might get the least common multiple, but more often than not, you're not going to. So make sure you remember to do that. Okay, we've done our excluded values. We've talked about least common multiple. Take a look at question number 6. There is a little error there, not really an error. I don't know why these boxes come through. I think it's because the versions of Word that I open these on are two different ones. But that should be a multiplication sign. So if you guys can go ahead and put the dot there, that's multiplication, asking you to multiply those values together. And remember when we worked with problems like these two, like 6 and 7, you want to factor them first and then see if you can do any cross-canceling. Since it is multiplication here, and this one's division, which we always change division to multiplication first, it is okay to cross-cancel. So you want to make sure you factor first there. These have common denominators, which should make it easy. These do not, but you want to factor them first and then find your common denominators. I think we're doing okay with that. Now these are like the ones that we just did in class. I don't want to go through an example of each one of these because I do want you to try it start to finish on your own. Remember, when we have two rational expressions set equal to each other, we've got to cross multiply. So I'm multiplying the values on a diagonal. And here I have two fractions that need to be combined first. The denominators are not the same, so we have to make common denominators first, simplify that before we can cross multiply. And this is the one I really want you to try on your own. It's okay if you don't get it right. When I come back tomorrow, we'll clarify any issues that we have. But I really want you to try that one from start to finish. And then the rest of these should be okay. We generally do okay with these. You just have to make sure you are not canceling over addition and subtraction. That is bad. Shame, shame, shame. Don't do it. Do not cancel over addition and subtraction. Matter of fact, I'm going to write our little rules that we talked about the other day off to the side here. It says if you have addition or subtraction outside of parentheses, you cannot cancel. I'm going to write that in big letters. If you have addition or subtraction outside of parentheses, you cannot cancel. We still make that mistake so many times. Now I wrote that in really huge letters here. You don't have to write it in really huge letters on your sheet unless you've already done so. Then I guess you'll need an extra sheet of paper to do question 13 now, won't you? But have to make sure that you don't do any canceling over addition and subtraction. It's bad, 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 bad. Don't do it, okay? The rest of these should be all right. Back to factoring, which we've been doing. This should be like so easy to us at this point in time. We're in good shape here. And then the last one is just a review of systems. I'm really not too concerned with that one, but remember you have 3 different methods of solving. You can graph it, which I don't know why anybody in their right mind would choose to do that. You can use elimination or you can use substitution. So there you have it. This is review sheet number 1. You will still get a couple more of these before your unit test. Remember, the tests are a lot more points than the quizzes. So if we didn't do things right on the quiz, you really have to make sure that we clean those things up before test time. Which test will be, oh, I'm not sure. I think we talked about that. Probably Monday maybe, but I don't want to test you during ISAT. Maybe Friday. Not completely sure, but we will figure it out. But we need to make sure that we get these things cleaned up. Okay? Okay. You can spend the rest of the class period finishing up this review sheet. If you did not finish lesson 99, you can work on that as well. That's due tomorrow. And be prepared for any questions that you need to ask me, because tomorrow will be a review sheet as well. And I have no idea why I'm just scrolling up and down. I'll stop. Okay? Excellent. Enjoy the rest of your class. Bye, guys.